Hello, this is Annette with Project Refine Life. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm here to share all of the astrologically based tarot and oracle decks that I have within my collection. Now this was prompted by a video that I saw from Jess at Jess Reads Cards. She was sharing the decks that she's probably going to be working with to take part in the Lion Hearts My Star Signs Tarot Challenge that is through the month of June. So I was looking at her decks, and first of all, I was very excited that Jess is back because I really enjoy her videos. But I came up here and I was like, what tarot and oracle decks do I have that are astrologically based? I was kind of amazed that for the amount of decks that I have, that I really don't have that many, because most of my practice is, when it comes to astrological anything, is really more focused around the moon, not so much astrological type of correspondence and the way that you work with it. So I'm a real baby. I always say this, I'm a baby when it comes to astrology. My focus is always more within the 13 moon system and working with the moon through Mayan cosmology and working with the sun in Mayan cosmology. So my moon focused information, I may have more of that than astrology based. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about things like this, like the moon deck. This is an oracle deck. It's an indie deck, and it's more based on, like, if you're having a moon ceremony and you're pulling cards and they're more affirmations and kind of a ritual type situation that you can do, or things to enhance whatever card that you pulled. And then this is the Wandering Moon Tarot, which I just love the black and white images within this deck. I love the simplicity and the openness of this deck. But again, this is not an astrologically based tarot deck. Even when it comes to books, I really, it's more like Women's Moon Circles and the Moon Book, Lunar Magic to Change Your Life, and Tarot by the Moon, but they're not astrologically based. So I found really just this book that has to do with astrology. So this is The Stars Within You, A Modern Guide to Astrology. This is really one of my only astrology books. And it's simple dimple. I love how clean and clear it is and easy for me to understand. And each month I go through, because I have been trying to understand astrology a little bit more. I do not want to become like an astrologist. I don't. But I do want to understand it more. So this book keeps it clean and simple for me. Every month I add a little bit of information because it doesn't have the chakra correspondence or the tarot correspondence within this book. So I just add that in, but it's a really nice, clean book. It just describes the basics to you in a language that I can understand. So that's the first book that I have. And the second book that I refer to is this right here from this oracle deck. So this is the Heavenly Bodies Astrology deck by Lily Ashwell. This deck is really, really pretty, and I love it because the art is really beautiful, and you can use it as an oracle deck as well. So it's not just astrology based, and for that reason I've really enjoyed this deck and having this deck within my collection. But also, this little book that comes with this deck, this is a mass market deck. Look at this cute little book. It's a proper little book. And this little guidebook has really great information. It's just kind of like a couple of little paragraphs here, some keywords, experiences, the shadow, and that's it. Then it goes on to the next one. So it goes over the zodiac signs, it goes over the houses. And it's really just a very simple oracle deck, but enough for you to get the overall characteristics of that particular sign or house. So this little book is actually one that kind of stays really close to me, because it just offers a quick look into the zodiac or the astrology that I'm looking into for that month. This deck right here, the astrology reading cards. Now, for my very first 2 decks that I ever bought, I bought 2 decks at the same time. One was your standard RWS, you know, the yellow ones. And then this deck right here, which is the astrology reading cards. It has 3 suits, which are the planet cards, the house cards, and oops, something's out of order here, and then the zodiac sign cards. And that's it. It's very clean and simple. It has a little bit of a phrase within each card, and it's simple, guys. The guidebook is decent enough, and I've heard a lot of people say this is a really good deck when it comes to astrology, but this one has been really hard for me to connect with. It's funny because this is one of the first decks that I chose because I really wanted, this is how long I've been wanting to understand astrology. I chose this deck, but the art really doesn't resonate with me. But I've heard from people that this is a really good deck when it comes to the conversation of the overall feeling of the astrological symbols. I don't know, because I don't know that much about astrology, so I couldn't tell you if it's true or not. The other astrology deck that I have is by Adriana Ayales. I love her work. I love her Instagram. I love everything that she offers within her website. I just love her. And this deck is so beautiful. This is the Herbal Astrology Oracle, and the pocket edition is coming out. That's probably something that will land up within my home because that's a little travel size that I can take with me. And I love the medicine that is offered within the herbal portion of this deck. But up on top of of every card is the astrology symbols that are included within that plant medicine. So this is probably something that I'm going to take out. And honestly, guys, I don't know how much of this challenge I'm going to do. I'm probably just going to do like the 1 card reading. So I don't know how much of these decks I'm going to use, but it really prompted me to look at what astrology decks do I have. So this is why I'm sharing it. Spirit de la Lune. This one I've had for a really long time as well. And this is a beautiful little deck. It has the planets, it has the houses, it has a bunch of things in here. I can't even remember anymore because it's been a really long time since I've worked with this deck. The deal with this deck is, as beautiful as it is, and even though it's a smaller round deck, which it's easy to handle, this is my issue. The font within the script is really small. So if I'm working with this deck and it's late, I cannot read it. The only time that I can read this deck is during the day. And most of the time, if I'm doing this type of work, when it comes to any type of moon work, any kind of moon ceremony, it's at night and I can't read it. So it kind of sits here, but I love it. It's probably one of the first, or, you know, not maybe one of the first, but within those first batches of decks that I got in. The Arcana of Astrology by Claire Goodchild. Again, beautiful deck. I don't use it that much because, again, this one's pretty cut and dry about the astrology of it all. And although it's a good reference deck for me, this really hasn't been my focus. But the guidebook itself is really, really good. I will say that. So this is a good one to use, and maybe I'll bring that one out. Okay, let's get to the tarot decks. So I have a few tarot decks, not many. The Ashra Tarot. This is a Thoth-based deck, and each card has the astrological symbols within the deck itself or within the cards themselves. Really, really beautiful, beautiful art. I love the colors. And see, something like this really gets me inspired to learn Thoth without using a guidebook, because this is inspiring to me. This makes me motivated, things like this. But I haven't used this one for a while. All right, next is the Journey of the Sacred Bee. And again, another Thoth-inspired deck. This deck I use this one pretty often because I love the art. I love the colors. The astrological symbols that are on the deck are very visible, very easy to see. I really, really like this deck. This has been in my collection for a while, and I really love it. Such a beautiful quality within this particular deck. I really, really like this one, and the guidebook is really good. And again, the astrological symbols are on each and every card. This is the Tarot de Luz. And this cutie has the astrological symbols right on the bottom of the card. This deck, it's adorable, right? But don't think that it doesn't pack a punch, because it really, really does. Within a reading, it's pretty forward with you. I do like the deck, but it is forward. So at least that was my experience while working with this deck. And when I do bring it out, I like to bring it out around February. And it's not shy. So of course, here we go. Here's the Thoth. Of course, this one has all the symbology, right? All the references, all the things. And as you can see, it's in order. You know, I did a walkthrough of a deck. Oh, it was a Circle of Doors. And I was going through and kind of comparing each card and seeing where I could pick up references from the Thoth into the Circle of Doors. And it's amazing how much I could read into it or see it. But when it comes to working with this deck itself, it's very difficult for me. I think it's just the history that I'm aware of in regard to Crowley himself that is very hard for me to look past. So it remains in order, and it's a great reference for my other decks. And then last but not least, as you can see, I have this beautiful tarot spread cloth right below us, and this is from the Lilifer Tarot. I love Marianne Costani's work. Constantine. I don't think I'm saying that right, and I'm all tongue tangled, but this deck is just beautiful. And this is one deck that I am definitely inspired by. This has all the astrological symbols. This is the second edition. I do have the first as well. She really cleaned up the second edition. She made this thing so beautiful. I love the cardstock. I love the little bling. It's not overwhelming. It's just a really pretty deck. Guys, if you have not given this one a chance, please do, because this is a fantastic deck. And talk about faces with some emotion. This deck for me, it does it. I don't know. I mean, there's not too many, like looking at them, like there's not that many variances within the facial expressions, but there are within the posture and everything of this little creature, wherever they're at and however they're standing. And it's just amazing to me. I love this deck. This is such a good one. So this is the Lilifer Tarot. Now there was two decks, and one was a deck that Jess was using, and that is the Metamuse Tarot. You can find it on Etsy, and it's a very reasonably priced deck, and it's a collage deck. And if you know me, you know I love collage decks, but I don't have it, but I really like it. And then the other deck that kind of piques my interest is the Zodiac Tarot deck and book set. Now I've heard about this deck, I've seen it online, I've heard people talk about it, and people have some very mixed emotions about it. Some say that the astrological symbols are correct and that the zodiac symbols are correct and correlating with the tarot, and others say that they're not. I don't know, because I don't have the deck and I don't know that much about astrology. So I am asking you guys, what do you think? Metamuse Tarot, because I'm kind of drawn to that. Or if you have the Zodiac Tarot and you're familiar with astrology, How does it correspond? What's your opinion? I would love to know. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you later.